Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you to the ranking member for holding this hearing, and thank you, Secretary Granholm, for joining us in person. I want to talk mainly about our domestic energy production and exporting more natural gas. You've been saying a lot of the right things today, and we appreciate that. Appreciate that you've stated very clearly that you want to do everything you can to support domestic energy production. So let's assume that the Department of Energy is doing exactly that, which is of course, what you represent. But the administration is really what I have questions about. You know, does Gina McCarthy feel the same way? Does John Kerry feel the same way? Does Administrator Regan agree with your statement that we need to be increasing our exports to Europe by 65%, that we need to do everything we can to encourage domestic production? Is there consensus in the administration?
The president has said we need to increase domestic production, and we all work for the president, so there is consensus.
The reason I ask, and the reason I'm skeptical, of course, again, Department of Energy seems, let's take you at your word there, and you don't oversee the SEC, you don't oversee NEPA regulations, but the EPA does. So I'm skeptical that the administration actually feels this way, because I have a long list of things that make it very difficult for anyone to want to invest in more production. SEC climate disclosure rules restricting U.S. overseas fossil fuel investments, State Department nationwide permitting, nationwide permit 12, gas turbine rules, NEPA regulations, gas plant GHG standard updates, post-meter natural gas emissions, methane rules at the EPA, FERC changing pipeline requirements for natural gas, CWA 401. It's a long list. And I want to know, is your message getting through to these other members of the administration that I think clearly fight you on this?
We recognize as an administration right now that we are on war footing, and we have to increase supply to help our allies and to be energy independent. Now, we are the #1 exporter of LNG. We are the #1 producer in the world of LNG. We are we are almost record of oil. We are the #1 producer of oil. So we are producing. The question is, can we use some of that to help our allies? And I'm sure you would agree that it is important for us to think medium, long-term to accelerate our movement toward clean energy, which makes us also energy independent. So we understand we've got an emergency need right now, and the entire administration understands that, and that we also have to accelerate the clean technologies that will allow us to decarbonize and address climate change.
Of course, and I'm all about the accelerating innovation in cleaner technologies, especially nuclear energy and carbon capture technology. But let's talk about reducing global emissions for a minute too, and how that's related to natural gas. I mean, about half the world's emissions are because of foreign coal. In the last 12 months, the growth in international coal emissions basically had the impact of wiping out all of the emission benefits of 15 years of wind and solar in the United States. So if you're looking at low-hanging fruit and you're looking, how do you displace this dirty fuel that developing countries are burning at extraordinary rates? And the answer is very clearly natural gas. So look, if the administration's on board, great. That doesn't seem to be the message for the last year and a half, but if that's changed, that's great. But if you need more arguments, please use that one. Please. If the quickest way to reduce emissions in the short term in a way that doesn't trap people in poverty is to displace foreign coal with natural gas. I'm sure you'd agree with that.
We are, as I say, we are exporting record amounts of natural gas, and we have permitted everything we can permit within the four corners of our country to be able to do that. It is a step, but it would also be great, and I know the natural gas community believes this, if we can button down the methane leakage, the methane flaring, make sure, and these hydrogen hubs will be an opportunity to be able to also address the CO2. Technology can really make it cleaner, and let's not send the message that we don't also want to expand clean energy solutions in those countries as well. I think that we can do that. We can decarbonize, and we can also deploy clean technologies for these countries.
Agree. Look, a key part of also reducing things like flaring is allowing ourselves to build more pipelines. I'm running out of time, but I really wanted to ask you about what the Department of Energy is doing to really foster nuclear innovation and production in this country. But I'm out of time, so I yield back. The chairman wants to let you hit that.
I can
Love
submit
it.
something in writing too.
Thank you.
All right.